Dice Tower Tonight, episode 26.
When Tom's away, Crystal and Eric will play.
Welcome to Dice Tower Tonight, a video cast about board games and card games, and especially the people who play them. On tonight's show, Tom has left us alone again, so Crystal and I will challenge each other with our own devious games. We'll talk about some recent plays, and then we'll take your questions live. I'm Eric Summerer, and joining me now, the Skeeter to my scooter, Crystal Pisano.
Skeeter and Scooter.
Yes. We were watching one of the Muppet. We're watching Muppets Take Manhattan, which was the debut of the Muppet Babies. My kids have sort of rediscovered the classic Muppet movies, although they think that Kermit sounds weird with Jim Henson doing the voice because they've grown up with Steve Whitmire performing Kermit, and now the new Matt Vogel Kermit is especially strange to everyone. It's an interesting transition.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I was a big Muppet fan when I was a kid. Like, we had the VHS tapes of the Muppet Show. I think a couple of my favorites when John Denver was a special guest, and Brooke Shields. Like, they had some really good people, like good guests on the Muppet Show back in the day. Although I will admit, I don't think I ever watched any of the new Muppet Show when it aired.
You mean the most recent one on ABC that was sort of the Office format? It was actually pretty good. People turned away from it quickly, but they found their footing about halfway through the season. But I think the damage was already done, and folks didn't watch it. It was a shame.
That's the problem with putting a show on a network like that is they don't ever really give a lot of shows a chance to find their footing.
Yeah. I mean, any Muppets is better than no Muppets, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure.
Oh well. Anyway, it's been quite the week, Crystal.
It has been quite the week. That is a true statement.
Oh, man. So yesterday, tickets went on sale for Dice Tower West, our first attempt at a Las Vegas convention. Not for Dice Tower, at least, but MeepleCon's been going for several years. And
yes,
sort
this would have been the fifth MeepleCon if it were still under that name.
And tickets went pretty quickly, more quickly than we thought. There were only 750 available, and by 8 p.m. Eastern, I think they were all gone.
Yep, it took around almost about 8 hours exactly for the tickets to sell out, which we had known was a possibility, and we had stated that. I know even yesterday in Tom's live Q&A that was about an hour before, that started an hour before the tickets went live, he said, tickets might go fast. Be there when they go on sale. And so they lasted 8 hours, which I think is pretty good. But it is definitely the fastest that tickets for MeepleCon have ever gone.
Right.
But for an inaugural Dice Tower West, I think that's a pretty reasonable thing to happen.
Yeah. And although the system is not yet in place, there should be a waitlist system soon. And I'm sure you'll publicize that when that's in place, and people who didn't get a chance to get tickets yesterday can put their names on that list, and hopefully as people cancel, plans change, hopefully some of those tickets will become available again. It's no matter what, we have a great group of people that are going to be hanging out in Vegas come March, and I'm excited.
I'm so excited. I have my foot securely in both aspects of this, being on the con team and on the Dice Tower team. So I'm very invested in all aspects of this event. And I care a great deal about both the gaming community here in Las Vegas and the gaming community at large. So I think it'll be really, really neat for people that haven't come to Vegas ever or in a while to come to Vegas and see. It's not always what you expect it to be. A lot of people have a lot of assumptions about Vegas, that it's all gambling and drinking and other things. And there's a lot of really cool stuff in Vegas, and the gaming community is one of those things.
Awesome. So what have you been playing lately?
So I have not been playing a lot of games recently, which is making me really kind of sad. I did play a couple of games at game night last week, but I was getting ready to fly to Kansas City to visit my family. So we just played a couple of quick old standards. We played a game of Coup, and we played a game of Baron Park. And Baron Park, I actually had not played in a while. When it first came out, I fell in love with it and played it a whole bunch and kind of burned myself out on it. So it was really nice for Baron Park to hit the table again. I like that game a lot. Someone asked me what is on my shirt in the chat, and it says, "Today is going to be a good day." It is a shirt that I picked up when a play came through Vegas called The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, based on a book. Both the book and the play are excellent. I highly recommend them. So,
Awesome.
but yeah, played a couple games last week, and then I just got a game in the mail. I haven't gotten to play it yet, but I got Sprawlopolis, which is the new game in the Button Shy line of games. Where's the little postcard? That's pretty cute. There's a little Rectar expansion. I mean, that has to be a play on Reptar, right? Like, it has to be.
Yeah, that's a Rugrats reference.
Yeah, it is, and I'm digging it. A one-card disaster hits Sprawlopolis. I have heard nothing but good things about this Button Shy wallet game, and I am very, very excited to get these 18 little cards onto the table. I just haven't had a chance to do it yet since I was traveling this weekend. Yeah, I was in Kansas City. I got to go to a Royals game. I got to go to Santa Calagon Festival. I got to hang out with my mom and my sister and my nephew, and it was awesome. But we didn't play any board games. I brought a bunch with me, but we just didn't get around to them. So I would love to hear what you've been playing recently. I know that you've been instituting a new weekly game night with your family, if I remember correctly.
Yes. I mean, my kids actually pushed for getting a weekly game night going. And you know, we try and catch as catch can with playing games with the kids, but they really wanted to go for something a little more set in stone. So Tuesday nights right now are our family game night evenings, and we're trying to rotate who picks, you know, who gets to pick the game. So I have to play the stuff that the kids want to play, so that they are willing to play the review stuff that I want to get to the table.
I mean, you got to give some to get some. Right. I get it.
So far it's gone all right. Sometimes the younger child is more reluctant to play. And I end up having to play some stuff that's still like a favorite, but maybe not my favorite. Like Quartz is a game that fits into that category. This is a passports game about dwarven miners. In fact, it's being rethemed as a Snow White game for USAopoly. Basically the same game where you're mining, and it has a certain amount of take that aspect to it. A lot of push your luck as you're drawing these gems from a bag, and if you get too many black gems, the obsidian gems, your cart crashes and you lose everything you've earned. But then there's also these cards that let you shift stuff around and give obsidian to your other players, force players to draw from the bag when it's not their turn. And so there's just a lot that can hose you in this game. And the children
like to hose daddy.
They like to team up. Like this is not a cooperative game, but the children play it like it is. And just let's make dad's cart crash. Or they both, because we're playing like a 3-player game, if everyone else leaves the mine, there's only one player in, you get a bonus card and some money, but you don't get to mine anymore. And so they're like, you know what? Let's make dad stop. And so I pass, and I'm like, but this was a good run. I was gonna get the. So, Port's not my favorite. I want to talk about a different game. That was all leading up.
Yeah.
So what I want to talk about is from Van Ryder Games. These are the graphic novel adventures. It's a set of 5 of them right now, although there are more coming, I believe. It's a graphic novel, as the name would indicate. This one's Sherlock Holmes. There's a horror-themed one. There's a sort of a Dungeons and Dragons style adventure. There's a Japanese-themed one, and there's also a Western where you actually build a town. But Sherlock Holmes was the first one that I've completed, and it's relatively straightforward. You actually have a book, or if you got a bookmark, or there's character sheets you can download online, and you look up, you start the book, and it presents you with some sort of situation. Let me find a good non-spoilery page here. And so here's a crime scene. And there's a bunch of numbers displaying different things that you can explore. So say I want to go check out that display case over there. So I would turn to number 109. And there's numbers on the bottom, and I go to panel 109, and that leads me to examining that display case, which then may lead to another puzzle, a clue, something I can write down, something I can interact with. and I just keep jumping all over the book until I have solved all 4 cases, which is Sherlock Holmes' 4 investigations. When I get to the end, I see if my answers were correct, if I save the day, and then the very last section is Holmes explaining why the answers were correct or not correct. It's really engaging. This gives me a sense of point and click adventure games. I feel like I'm playing Myst or some other, single player adventure in this case. It's not really something you can do with multiple players. You really only want one person looking at this. Maybe you could have a second person reading with you and helping you see things. There were some hidden objects that you have to find in here. And maybe a second player would notice some of the clues because there's a lot of hidden things, and it's a Sherlock Holmes mystery that you're looking for those hidden things. But very intricate. It's a lot of flipping back and forth. So it's sort of you're holding one page with one finger while you flip to another page, and then back again. There's in you're interrogating people. Let me see if I can find a page with questions on it. So here you're talking to this guy with the cat, and there's a bunch of questions you can ask. If you're playing as Watson, you can play as either Watson or Holmes. If you're playing as Watson, you get 4 questions out of that list. And if you're playing as Holmes, you only get 3, but you also get like your special observation. You get like extra clues. You get more points if you play as Holmes in the final score. But you can ask a question that will offend the witness. And so you flip to a page and the guy's like, "How dare you, sir?" And then it's like, you don't get to ask any more questions. Oh. See, and there's an index where you can hunt down people. You're like, I heard a name somewhere that seemed interesting. Oh, yes, it's on this list of people. I can go to their house and flip to that page. It says, if you're investigating this investigation, you can continue and talk to this person. Or, hidden numbers that you flip to that page. It says, oh, you found a secret clue. It's really cool and more engaging than like the escape rooms that have been all the rage lately. It has a lot of similarities to say Unlock. You're just not doing puzzles here. You're not putting items together as much as you are looking for things and flipping to the right section. But this has taken me. I got this at Gen Con and started pretty soon after. So it's been 4 weeks or so on and off when I have a chance to play it. It's taken a little while, and I'm really looking forward to doing more. The Western one has a whole map system, and I mentioned not being able to play this with other players. They are working on a cooperative version, which I think is in the next wave, that has 4 different books, and your character may have strengths that mine doesn't. So we may be looking at the same panel, and you may see a pot on a shelf that has a number that you can reach. My illustration doesn't have a number on that pot because I can't mess with that. But the crate that's in the corner might have a number on mine. It doesn't on yours. So because we have different strengths, we can investigate differently. It's a cooperative, multiplayer graphic novel adventure that I cannot wait for. But for now, these are great. Graphic novel adventures from Van Ryder Games.
Wow. So these were on Kickstarter, right? Is this the group that was on Kickstarter, or is this not?
I believe they were on Kickstarter. They are now fulfilling. I'm sure you can buy them from Van Ryder directly. I think they had them at conventions. They had them at Gen Con.
Because I saw them on Kickstarter when they were on there, and I was like, oh, that looks interesting, but it wasn't like enough to make me instantly click the button. And then I kind of dilly-dallied, and then it was gone, and I was like, oh, whatever. But based on your description, this sounds right up my alley, and especially good for like something to play on my lunch break at work. Like, yeah. If I just want to hang out and chill and play a thing. Like I did Legacy of Dragonholt solo during my lunch break at work when I was playing that. And This seems like it would be awesome. Like, just so cool.
Yes. I mean, I'm exceedingly pleased with it. So yes, my only reservation is that some of the themes might be a little much for my kids. My son keeps asking when I'm done with the Sherlock Holmes so he can play it. I just finished today. So that one I think he can play. But there's like the horror themed one. No, that's not a good idea.
Well, it sounded like, I think someone in the chat said that they might be developing some kid-friendly ones. I don't know if that's true. I believe
the second wave will contain kid-friendly ones. And that co-op one I mentioned is definitely kid-friendly. I saw a prototype or a mock-up of it in French. They have to translate it. And yes, that looks totally kid-friendly, and it is high on my list already.
Awesome. That's really cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah. So we should move on to when your son's done with Sherlock Holmes. Can I play it? Maybe. We'll see. Although my other son's going to want to play it. We have our own games. Even if your gaming has not been terribly strong, uh, we can make up our own.
We
Now,
can.
so since you have had the fewer games played recently, would you like to go first or second
I
in
will
our game?
go second, only
Okay.
because I believe yours is a more familiar format, and my game that I have for you is going to be a little different. I'm trying to make up for the dud of a game that I created during our last episode. I think I have something really fun for you this time, so
Okay.
I'll go second.
I don't think that was your fault. I think that was me just staring off into space for too long.
No, it's
No,
the
you're
whole.
fine.
We've talked about this. It's the game show effect, where all knowledge leaves your head the second someone asks you a question like that.
So you told me to prepare for this game you've created. I have a blank piece of paper. I don't know what you want me to do with it yet.
Well, I'm gonna go second, so we're gonna do your game first,
Okay.
and then I'll present my game to you after that.
So we were discussing, talking about the show a couple days ago, Crystal, and I asked you what your background in video gaming was.
You
Uh,
did.
and part of that is because also playing with my kids, I have recently acquired a Super Nintendo and Nintendo Entertainment System Mini. You know, the new things that Nintendo put out with all the preloaded games. And so we've been playing Mario and Zelda and Dr. Mario and all sorts of great games. And realizing that Zelda Link to the Past is still one of my favorite games of all time.
So good, just so good.
Amazing game. But one of the reasons I asked you what your background was, I just wanted to know how far back into the retro stuff you went. And you said you have owned every Nintendo system except for a GameCube.
Yes, I never owned a GameCube. My college roommate had one, but I never really played it. So I missed some of the classics on there, like Luigi's Mansion and Super Mario Sunshine, some of the big ones there. But I've owned every other Nintendo system. Yes, every single other one.
So it's interesting that you mentioned some of the big ones because that's what this game is about. We're going to go all the way back to the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Okay.
And I went and found sales data for the most popular games sales-wise for that system. However, we're going to mix our little top 10 list with a little bit of taboo because there are some forbidden words that we've excluded from the list. Those words are Mario and Zelda.
Okay.
So, what are the top 10? Well, you can say it. They're just not on the list. So, what are the top 10 best-selling Nintendo Entertainment System games that do not contain the word Mario or Zelda?
Oh, goodness. Because
And I've got the top 10.
I would say my wheelhouse when I played the original Nintendo was definitely Mario and Zelda games.
Yeah.
I did own one really cool Sesame Street Nintendo game that was like educational and like taught you letters and stuff. Which I was probably
your first guess?
No, it is not. I am going to guess that's not one of the biggest selling games. So that being the case, we are, for my first guess, going to go with Tetris.
Tetris is number 2.
Okay.
Excellent.
That makes me feel good.
Yes.
How about Castlevania?
Ooh, excellent game. Not on the list, though.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now I have to go, okay, so is Simon's Quest a better selling game, or are there no Castlevania games on the list? And I'm going to, right now I'll say none, but maybe come back to it when I can't think of something else. So let's go with Ice Climber.
Ooh, no. No Ice Climber.
Okay. How about Kid Icarus?
Ooh. Yes, that's an excellent choice. No, not on the list.
Okay, Metroid.
Metroid, you would think Metroid would be on this list.
No Samus?
It's actually number 12.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, but technically not an answer. So, yeah, no.
Okay. I'm trying to think.
It might help to think about games that were included with the system.
Oh, see, that's what was included with the system? Like, I know if you bought the like Rob robotic dude, he came with a game, but I don't remember the game that he came with, and I don't think Rob was all that popular, to be honest. What came with the system? It was Duck Hunt for sure.
Duck Hunt is number one. Yes.
Okay,
you got that.
But technically that was the Duck Hunt Mario Brothers combo, I believe.
It was, but I believe they counted those sales.
Okay.
So that's 6 guesses. You have 4 more.
Okay. Wait, let's see. So the most did Dr. Mario exist on the original Nintendo? I think it did.
Yes.
Whether it was that popular that early or not. Ooh, are we talking American sales or worldwide sales?
I believe it's worldwide.
Okay,
according to Wikipedia, they were worldwide sales.
Okay, that being the case, I'm gonna guess Dragon Quest, or in the US it was known as Dragon Warrior.
Can you be more specific?
Oh no, there's like 5 of them, Eric.
There are like 5 of them.
I don't know what the most popular one was. I was the weirdo who liked the original game. You only had one party member the whole game, and you had to grind like crazy in the middle of it. And nobody likes the original Dragon Warrior, but that's the one I had as a kid, and it was simple enough that I could play it. It's got to be 2 or 3. It has to be. We'll say Dragon Warrior 2 or Dragon Quest 2 in overseas.
Dragon Quest 2, not on the list. No, that counts as a guess, though.
Darn it! You're having fun with this, being a little more sadistic than usual, and I kind of like it. Okay. Well, see, now I don't know if you're doing the thing Tom does, where he's like, be more specific, and then none of them are on the list.
That would be really mean of me, wouldn't it?
Oh, no! That's probably the case. Okay. Okay, well, I glanced at the chat, and I'm going to cheat a little.
Okay.
Because I loved Excite Bike, so I'm hoping it's on the list.
Excite Bike is number 3.
Wow, that's surprising.
Yeah.
I did not.
Me too.
I tell you what, though, in Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U and Switch, the Excite Bike track is awesome. So if people haven't tried that, it's fun.
I have not tried that.
Yeah, I dig it a lot.
2 more guesses.
Was Final Fantasy on the Nintendo? So I know I'm losing nerd cred here, but the Final Fantasy series of games, because I have one of the Final Fantasies on the Super Nintendo Mini. So Final Fantasy, we'll just say the first one.
No, Final Fantasy doesn't make the list.
All right.
Let's think about maybe some very basic sports.
Oh, golf. Please tell me golf is on the list. It was one of my favorites.
Golf is on the list. It's number 4.
Yes! Golf is great.
You got the top 4, which really isn't bad. Duck Hunt, Tetris, Excite Bike, Golf, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was number 5.
Oh, I'm ashamed of myself.
Dragon Quest 3 was number 6. Kung Fu was number 7.
Never played that.
Baseball was number 8.
Okay.
Dragon Quest 4 was number 9.
No!
And World Class Track Meet that came with the power pad was number 10.
Yeah, that's the one where you had to like run really, really, really fast on the pad, and it was impossible.
It was difficult. We discovered that if you did the long jump, you run, and then jump off the pad, and you'd sail through the air. And if you waited too long, you crashed. But there was like this period you could jump off and then like slam your fist down on the pad. So anyway, that was number 10.
If Tom wanted to do, like, instead of doing Magical Athlete at a future con, if he wanted to dig up some power pads, I'd be down for some NES track and field as like a bonus event at a convention. I shouldn't say that out loud. I'm not athletic at all, but
like an opening night game show thing, that would be fun. I also put Punch Out was number 11.
Oh, shoot, of course.
So just for fun, if we had Mario and Zelda on the list, it would be Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario Brothers 2, The Legend of Zelda, then Tetris, then Dr. Mario in 7, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link was number 8, then Excite Bike, then Golf.
Okay.
So I had to take those out because that was just boring.
My sister hated golf, and I forced her to play it with me, and she resented me a lot. Like, she thought it was really boring, and I don't know why I liked it so much, but I really did. Also, best part about owning an NES, we had one at my house, and then my grandma got one used at one point, and she would play Mario with us, but every time she played, she would move along with Mario. So grandma would take the controller, and she'd go like this, like as Mario was moving across the screen. And it was the best to watch her play. She was not good at it at all, but I would just let her play for as long as she wanted.
I saw the chat, people talking about Bubble Bobble. I also just recently played that with the kids. We played all the way through all 100 regular levels, then 100 super Bubble Bobble levels, and beat the whole thing with my youngest and had a blast. Good times.
And Cy Redeye 22 says Donkey Kong 64 for best game of all time. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's a good one. So.
All right, what you got, Crystal?
Okay, so we're gonna do some. Okay, so I did tell you to prep a piece of paper, and what we're gonna do is I'm going to give you a list of videos that the Dice Tower YouTube channel has released.
Oh boy.
They are the top 10 view-getting videos on the Dice Tower's YouTube channel. I'm going to give them to you in the wrong order. You have to list them from most views to least views. And so the way scoring will work is if you get a position of a video exactly right. So if you nail the number 1, for instance, I will give you 2 points. And then if you're one off in either direction, you'll still get 1 point. So you don't have to get everything perfect to get anything. And I have a few quotes from the said videos that I'm going to say out loud. If I had a little more tech savvy, I would play clips from the videos within the stream. But because of the Google Hangouts nature of this stream, that's a little difficult to do. So chat, please don't look it up and spoil it for Eric. Eric, we can do this one of 2 ways. I can go through the list and you can rank them within the list without knowing what the rest of them are, and then choose to reorder them at the end if you want. Or I can just go through the whole list and then you can put them in order. I can give the list to you after the fact, kind of, if you want. So however you want to do it is fine with me.
I guess let's give me the list and then I will try and put them in order. I'd like to know what the whole list is before I make any choices.
Okay.
And you can be discussing quotes while I think and put them in order.
Okay, cool. So I won't go through the quotes yet. I will just list the videos. I'm going to give you the name of the video and about how long ago it was released, because I believe that will potentially factor in, but it might not. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Obviously, videos that have existed longer have a chance to accumulate more views, but that doesn't guarantee that they will. So your first video, but not necessarily the top of the list, is Miami Dice episode number 42 about Mage Knight. This was released 6 years ago, and it was Tom and Sam talking about Mage Knight. Tom made references to Runebound during the video, and I'll talk about a fun quote from it while you're ordering your list. That is Miami Dice episode 42, Mage Knight, 6 years ago.
Okay.
So your second one is the top 10 essential games everyone should own. And this was released 1 year ago or thereabouts. I didn't pull exact dates, but in YouTube lists it as 1 year ago. And that was a top 10 with Tom, Sam, and Z. A lot of these are going to be top 10 lists. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I do know they were kind of popular.
They are popular, which is why they keep doing them. So one of these days, I'm going to crash the party. I'm just going to show up in Florida and hop into one of those top 10 lists.
Don't tell them you're coming.
Oh, yeah. No, that'll be way fun. All right. So the third video is Gloomhaven review. It was published about 1 year ago. And this is Tom's review of Gloomhaven. Okay. So the fourth video is top 10 annoying rules in board games. This was published about 5 years ago. And it is Tom, Sam, and Z. Then next is top 10 overrated games, also published about 5 years ago. And this one was recorded live at Dice Tower Con 2013. Not
Yes.
that really has any bearing on the views, but it's nice to know.
I was the camera person on that particular recording, and you can see me laughing because the camera shakes, and we didn't have a tripod at that time.
Okay, that's great. I like it. I did not watch the entirety of all of these videos as I was setting up my list, but now I might go back to that one. All right, so next is Dominion review. I believe this is the oldest video on the list. It was published 9 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and it is just Tom. The screen is much smaller, and everything is much blurrier, and Tom looks a little bit different. But you know what? It's still gotten a lot of views over the years.
I mean, the world was blurrier in 2009.
That is very true. Okay, so next is top 10 cooperative games, published about 2 years ago. Tom, Sam, and Z.
All right.
And next is top 10 strategic 2-player games from 4 years ago. And again, Tom, Sam, and Z. And then following that is top 10 casual 2-player games, also from 4 years ago, also with Tom, Sam, and Z.
Wow.
Yeah, I was surprised. And last, but potentially not least, is Scythe review from 2 years ago. This is Tom's review of the game Scythe.
Okay.
So I would play like Jeopardy music or something, but I don't have that either. So feel free to take your time and get your list in order, and I will talk with the chat here, and I will give them some fun quotes from some of these videos. So, and maybe that'll help you with the ordering. Who knows? But in Miami Dice episode 42 about Mage Knight, Sam said this. And you know what? Sometimes I'll give you context with the quotes. Sometimes I won't, because I think it's funnier that way. And Sam said, "If you know me, you know I'm an eye candy kind of person," in this video. So take that for what it is. I believe he was talking about the production quality of Mage Knight, but we can interpret it however we want. In the top 10 essential games everyone should own video, Tom asked Z a question. And I did not write down the answer to the question, but I thought Tom's question was interesting. He said, "Do you think you'll play Pandemic Legacy in 10 years? Because Z was talking about the fact that he believed the games on this list, people would still be playing in 10 years, and he put Pandemic Legacy on his list. So I think Tom was a little bit befuddled by that and wanted to know if Z really thought Pandemic Legacy was that evergreen. And if you want to know the answer, go look up that video and give it a view, see what Z said. Let's see, let's find another one. I don't know if I can do voices. I can't really do impressions, but some of these are a conversation. No. So in the top 10 annoying rules in board games, Z was talking about Race for the Galaxy. He said, "I enjoy it quite a bit. I enjoy the expansions quite a bit, except for the last one. It has war rules." To which Tom replied, "What is it good for?" And Z said, absolutely nothing. And then Sam said, "Say it again." And Z went, "No." I really can't do it justice, but it was funny. So, yeah, even though Z likes Race for the Galaxy, he does not like the last expansion for it. Although I guess the last expansion 5 years ago, there might have been more since then, so I don't really know which expansion he was referencing. Let's see. In Tom's Dominion review from 9 years ago, he said, two quote, well, there were a lot of notable quotes in this one, but I pulled out two. "Best game of 2008, easily. Also, it's basically just a big box of cards." You would think those two things wouldn't go together, but apparently they do. Let's see here. Okay, so in the top 10 strategic 2-player games video from 4 years ago, Z had chosen Mr. Jack in New York as one of his games, and Tom then chimed in. Oh no, Tom is here.
He's here.
I told you he was going to do this. Okay, I'm going to continue. So Tom then responded to Z's choice of Mr. Jack in New York by saying, "It's better, but it's like saying if there's mashed potatoes with no salt, no flavor in them, and you take a tiny bit of salt, that's the same thing. It's a little better, I guess." So that was how Tom was comparing Mr. Jack in New York to Mr. Jack regular. So, and now it's even more awkward because Tom is here.
Well, I'm sure he wants to hear your impression of him.
Yes, totally. I'll give one more quote from the top 10 casual 2-player games video from 4 years ago. Tom said, "My number 5 is Jambo." And Sam said, "Otherwise known as Jumbo." And then Tom said, "I actually thought about," and then Sam interrupted him, "pronouncing it correctly." There's some golden moments in these old videos, folks. If you haven't gone back and watched some of these old top 10s recently, I highly recommend it.
Anytime somebody corrects Tom's pronunciation, that's a good thing.
I mean, it makes for good entertainment. And since it's one of the top 10 most viewed videos on the Dice Towers YouTube channel, clearly it works. So, Eric, have you ordered your list?
I have. How would you like me to present these guests?
So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the list from 10 up to 1, and we will just see how close you were with any of your guesses.
All right. So I've locked them in, everybody. Here they are. They're already down on the paper, so no messing things around anymore.
All right. Well, yeah. Okay. So number 10, with 233,000 views, is Miami Dice episode 42, Mage Knight.
I guessed it. Right on. Number 10, Mage Knight. Right there.
All right. That's 2 points for you, Eric. All right. So number 9, from 9 years ago with 247,000 views, it is Tom's review of Dominion.
Ooh.
Where do we...
I put that at 5.
Okay. So no points for that one.
No points for that one.
At number 8, with 263,000 views, it is Tom's review of Gloomhaven.
Oh, I made that number 2. I thought that was way up there.
Oh, okay. Well, no points for that one either then. Let's see. At number 7, 274,000 views, it is Tom's review of Scythe.
All right. I put that in number 8, so I get a point for that.
You do get a point for that. So now you're up to 3 points total. And then at number 6, it is the top 10 cooperative games with 279,000 views.
I just missed that. I put that in 4.
Oh, just so close. All right. So number 5, top 10 annoying rules in board games from 5 years ago with 291,000 views.
I put that all the way at the bottom at number 9.
So
0 for those.
All right. Number 4 is top 10 casual 2-player games, 344,000 views.
That surprises me. And, you know, now that I think about it, I think Tom told me that those 2 were very high on the list, and I didn't believe him. I put that as number 7 on the list.
All right. Well, topping it just by a little is at number 3 is the top 10 strategic 2-player games with 375,000 views.
I got the general relative positioning correct because I put that at number 6. And so I'm going to call that a win because I put strategic over casual. I'm giving you
half a point.
All right. I'm going to put half point, 5 point. Okay.
All right. So we are up to number 2. It is the top 10 overrated games with 464,000 views.
I put top 10 overrated at number 1, but I get a point.
You do get a point. So you're up to 4.5 points in our arbitrary scoring that doesn't affect anything.
And you got 4 points, so you know.
Oh, that's true.
At
number 1, it is the top 10 essential games everyone should own with 738,000 views.
I really should have assumed that would be at least 1 or 2. I put it at number 3.
Womp womp.
I thought Gloomhaven was higher.
Okay, but with 4.5 points, that means you beat me since I only got 4.
Thank you for that pity point. I like that.
Oh yeah, we would have tied if I hadn't given you the half point. So hi Tom.
Hi Tom. Is his microphone on? I don't know if it is. He's
I
just
think
going to sit there smirking at us.
he's just smirking at us.
So this is what happens when I'm gone.
I mean, sometimes.
I don't talk about Crystal when she's not there.
I mean, if you did, it would only be very nice and wonderful things, obviously. So.
Well, Crystal has been working hard on Dice Tower West, huh?
That is true. I was very busy yesterday because I was at my real job and also at my not real job of managing all the social media accounts for Dice Tower West, which was fun.
I do appreciate that at one point you're like, just as a general note on Twitter, when you're discussing things with the social media people you have contact with, please be nice. And I just have to imagine some of the very frustrating emails and contacts you had to deal with all during yesterday. And so it's hard. It's easy to forget that there's a person on the other end of these accounts.
And I think that, sometimes people potentially assume that an organization is bigger than it actually is. And they might not recognize that every single thing that comes through our social media, generally, I'm the only person handling it. We have other people that have access to the accounts, obviously, but I'm our primary contact on all of the social media channels. So yeah, it was a day, but you know what? I think we got through it. And I'm bummed that not everybody that wanted tickets got tickets, but we're going to get that wait list organized and we're going to figure stuff out. So I've told people to have no fear. We're going to figure out a way to get people there. And if they can't attend this year, then obviously we know that the demand is higher. And next year we can potentially do something even bigger.
We're working at setting it up so more people can come. But at the same time, folks, I'm serious. We announce way ahead of time when it's time to sign up for these. I don't know what else we can do. Like Dice Tower Con is October 17th registration. We're telling you now. Don't wait to the last second and don't complain. We are telling you ahead of time. So yeah, treat social media people nicer, or I'll come after you.
Tom's very close to the camera today. I'm a little intimidated.
Oh, I don't know what it is. This has been a week of very, very big things going on, not Dice Towers. So, yeah, it's been a week, but I'm back. And well, I don't know what's going on here.
So we talked about a couple of games we've played recently, and then Eric and I each did a game for one another. And that's really all we've done thus far. We did talk about Dice Tower West a little bit at the front of the show as well. So we're up for, if you want to do just Q&A, or if you would like to talk about some games you've been playing or whatever.
Two things. I like to talk about MacGyver, the escape room game. Have you played this yet, Eric?
I haven't yet. I saw that it existed, but I have heard not great things about it. So I'm a little disappointed.
I actually really liked it.
Okay.
Okay, so MacGyver is 5 escape rooms in the same box. Now, they're not tremendously hard. I would say they're along the same line as, what's the one DVGOchi makes? Deckscape.
Deckscape. Yes, I just played the most recent one of that.
Yeah, so they're on the line of the difficulty of that. I will say the final puzzle of Case 5 I thought was dumb. But there were some pretty clever things in there. There were a few puzzles when I came across them, I was like, we know how to do that because I've seen it in something else.
Yeah.
And there were a few puzzles. There was one puzzle in particular I thought, did I give this puzzle out in an algebra test? Because I feel like I did. And there was a couple puzzles that we overthought. We're like, oh, so we have to do this, and this, and this, and this. And it was like, no, move that piece there, you're done. Something that, you know what I mean? We were just overthinking them. But I'm surprised I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I had heard that one of the puzzles had a misprint or something that made it impossible to solve, but you obviously didn't have a problem with it.
Or we did it right by accident? I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't remember running into that. I guess now that I've played through the whole thing, I can go look at spoilers and see.
Yeah, it wasn't on Board Game Geek when I checked. It had not received an entry yet as its own thing, so I couldn't even check for boards or spoilers or anything like that. I I'd love to know. It's something that I would be interested in. I loved watching MacGyver, so that would be
Yeah,
cool.
well, that part didn't do anything for me because I think MacGyver's stupid. But
What?
I'm just messing with you. Eric, you take nerd culture way too seriously.
Nerd culture is the only culture.
Yes. So when I was doing this with my wonderful family in real life, the game requires a computer. So basically, it's like the next question comes up and they're like, type in the code or click the switches you're turning on or off. And so you do that, but you're looking at physical stuff to get those answers. But you definitely need to have internet access or it will not work.
Hmm.
And I think it probably would have been better as an app over a computer game.
Okay.
All right, so my game. Here we go.
Eric and I's eyes both just got really wide. We were not expecting this.
Well, I mean, it would be rude of me to show up without a game. So just one top 10 list. I was going to stick this in a Wits and Wagers game, but whatever. So me and Z were talking about this question because I don't know what we got talking about Winston Churchill for. And I said, I bet he's one of the most portrayed people in movies. Well, guess what? He's not in the top 10. But I figure a lot of actors have played Winston Churchill. So my question to both of you is, and we'll go back and forth, who are the top 10 filmed characters? This could be fictional or historical.
Okay.
So who's winning right now? I don't know.
Eric is technically winning by a half point that I gave him out of pity.
Well, then we're going to let Eric go first because you shouldn't be getting pity points.
So you're saying most filmed as in most appearances in movies?
So like, for example, the number 10 person has been on screen 198 times. The number 1 has been on screen 848 times.
Sherlock Holmes.
Okay, Sherlock Holmes, good job, Eric. That's the number 9 choice. Sherlock Holmes has been on screen 254 times.
George Washington.
A very Mario-centric answer, and that's wrong.
Boo.
Eric.
Bugs Bunny.
No, I really feel like you should lose a point for that. But tell me how many actors have portrayed Bugs Bunny, Eric?
2.
So you think he made the top 10?
I did. I was thinking of all of the individual Merry Melodies shorts as individual ticks on the list.
Just to clarify, there's no cartoon thing here.
Oh.
I mean, I guess these characters could be portrayed in a cartoon movie. Yes, possibly.
How about Jesus?
Oh, that's a good one. Jesus Christ is the number 3 answer, Crystal.
Wow. I can't really think of another. How about Moses?
Moses. Yeah, I don't see Moses on the list, but that's a very good guess.
I think the right direction to go after Jesus is maybe God.
That is correct. Unfortunately, God has been on less than Jesus. He's number 4 on the list.
Still.
The sun always steals the spotlight.
No, I think that it's people find it probably more sacrilegious to portray God.
I mean, Morgan Freeman did a really excellent job in Bruce Almighty.
That is the picture that they're showing on the list I'm looking at.
Okay.
Nixon.
You know, that was my guess when I was guessing the list, and no, but I would imagine he's in the top 20. It seems like it. He was in Doctor Who.
I'm trying to think if there's any other politicians that would fit the bill, because George Washington wasn't, but like Abraham Lincoln, maybe?
Yes, Abraham Lincoln is way more popular than George Washington. You should know this. He fought vampires. There's all kinds of stuff that he's done. That's number 8. Number 8. And I think, no, I'm not. Never mind.
This is my favorite game. Let's see.
I feel like this is a decent quiz here. I'm not asking you impossible things, but it's time for some clues. There are on the list left. Number 10 is a literary character. So is number 7. 6 and 5 are historical characters. 2 is a
Ooh.
I can't give a clue for number 2 yet. I'm anything. And number 1. No, I'm not giving clues on number 2 or number 1. Sorry.
I have a good guess. Eric, guess something.
Well, that's great. I'm glad you have a guess because I'm gonna say, the Hardy Boys.
Wow. Great nerd. Are you kidding? The Hardy Boys? Can you even name an actor who portrayed the Hardy Boys?
No.
I'm gonna guess Einstein.
No, but that does seem like he's been in a lot of movies, right?
Yeah. I like that you make fun of Eric's guess and you're like, okay, yeah, your Crystal's guess was all right.
Because your guess is legitimate. I've seen movies with Einstein in. I don't even think I've even seen the Hardy Boys on screen.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hitler.
number 10.
Hitler.
Oh, that is correct. Number 6, Eric. Very, very good.
At least I got something.
I'm not sure Hitler's the most evil person on this list, is my next clue.
Oh, the devil!
Number 1 for Crystal. 848 times the devil's been in movies, while God has been in 350 times.
I almost said the devil.
Well, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
Now, the name of the devil is Satan. And if you were the church lady,
Santa?
Santa's number 2. Come on, Chris. I had to give him a softball. He's really
I'm okay with it. It's all right.
Not enough to catch up, but yeah, I feel better now.
Okay, so number 5 is a historical figure. Number
Historic.
7 is literary, and so is number 10.
Literary. I'm trying. So literary as in an author or a character?
A character from
Okay.
both of these characters are extremely famous. Both of them are in what are considered to be classic works, and both of them could not be more different, I think.
Interesting.
One is a hero, tragic hero, and one is a villain who has been portrayed more differently, I think, in the movies that this villain has been in from movie to movie.
Hamlet?
Hamlet is the tragic hero at number 10, yes. Which shows that none of the other Shakespearean characters have shown up on the list. But yes, a lot of people played Hamlet 198 times.
Wow, that's impressive.
Dracula.
Dracula is number 7, Eric. You are correct. Good call. That leaves us with number 5, a historical figure, not United States.
Historical figure, not the United States. Living or deceased?
This person is very much deceased.
Very much deceased.
Well, I mean, they've been deceased for
Well, yeah.
over a century. Is it over 2? No, I don't think it's over 2. I don't know when they died. Let me look. When did... 1921.
1921.
1821.
1821.
And either of you can answer if you think of it. This person, my favorite portrayals of them in movies have been in movies where they were making fun of this person. And in 2 different movies, this person was made fun of. One movie that came out maybe around a decade ago, and the other movie came out when I was a kid, and is still one of my favorite movies, even though the movie is clearly a stupid movie.
I'm trying to think if like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure had a really good portrayal of anybody, but it's been too long since I've seen that movie. I got nothing.
I was going to say like Queen Victoria, but I don't think that's what you're looking for.
No. Queen Victoria is usually portrayed in a very positive light. This person is very rarely portrayed in a positive light. I can't really identify with this person because I am much taller.
Napoleon.
Ooh. That is a tie. And you were right, Crystal. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Okay. Hey, look, so I even got the movie right. That's awesome.
He's also in the Battle of the Smithsonian, Night at the Museum.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He really likes water parks. That's what I know about Napoleon, really.
So wait, isn't it true that he wasn't actually that short, that everybody just thinks he was?
That's actually true. I would still think he was short, but to be fair, I think
you're also very tall. Well, you got us there, so.
How did he die?
I don't know.
Stomach ulcer. All right, that would have been extra credit. However, Crystal wins this game. Although you both got several good answers. All right.
Yeah, that was a good one.
All right, folks, you got any questions for us? Anything to ask us? Guys, who won the space game that I'm supposed to be sending out?
That's space game. You mean the one that I already have and talked about last
No. Stellar Leap is the one you're supposed to get, Eric. That's you.
Oh. Okay. Yes.
Stellar Leap, fine. I have it here. I just need to know who to send it to. And Crystal, I already sent you yours, right?
No. I don't even remember what it was. I just know that I wanted Stellar Leap, but already had it, so I took whatever the other one was.
Huh. I think Stellar Leap is. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Actually, I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it was like spectacularly interesting either.
A Tom 6 is like an Eric 8.
I mean, it kind of is.
Yeah, that's true. All right, no one is asking any questions here. I'm super pumped about Dice Tower West.
It's going to be so good.
And I'm pleased that people are excited about it because we don't want to like wear people out with conventions, right? But I'm just pumped about it.
Yeah. Well, and really, the West Coast. We need a really big dedicated board game convention. And obviously we can't make it gigantic right from the get-go. We have to grow it organically, but I think we have the potential to grow this into something big. And obviously the convention space exists here in Vegas for us to do that to the nth degree. It's just a matter of getting there. So
I mean, you have to remember that the original Dice Tower Con was 300 people? So this is already over twice that.
Yeah, we started, the very first MeepleCon was a single-day event, and it was about 200 people, but it was planned literally 2 months in advance by Tim and Dave. And then we've grown the attendance every year since then, and I believe last year we were around the 600 mark. So this is growing it again, but not by a ton. But, obviously there's money to be spent up front and all of that jazz. So logistics, hooray!
Yeah. Speaking of conventions that we're excited about, next week I'm going to Michigan, my old stomping grounds, for Grand Con in Grand Rapids. Mandy will be there as well. I'm excited. I've been hearing great things about this. Tom, you went one year. I am going to be participating in a Dungeons and Dragons themed improv event, which I'm slightly terrified about, but should be a lot of fun. It'll be great.
That sounds pretty cool. I'm jealous. I wish I could be there with y'all.
I've been spending a good chunk of today curating a Dice Tower library that we're going to use for Dice Tower Con and for Dice Tower Retreat and for Dice Tower Cruise. So my collection is now down to around 180 games, and it's dropping by the moment. Because I'm putting most of these games in this, but I'm super pumped because I'm making sure I'm going through and saying, okay, can I make the components better? Can we add some cool custom stuff in here? So I'm pretty pumped about that. So, all right, let's get to some questions. Are there plans to move to a bigger venue already for Dice Tower West? We're already moving to a bigger venue. We don't have the whole venue this year, actually.
Right. So in the past. Yeah, I mean, in the past, we were at the Eastside Cannery, and we were filling up their entire convention space, which is where we capped out. We're now moving to a larger space, but we do not have all of the space they have available. We're a new event, so to speak, and the venue obviously needs some kind of assurances as to that we're going to be able to fill up the space. And so now that we're proving that, I think it'll be easier to get more space going forward.
How far into Essen prep is the Dice Tower crew into? We have all our tickets bought and hotel rooms booked, and that's about it. Because honestly, it's still a month and a half away, and there are other things. I don't always want to be talking about what's coming out. I want to be talking about what's out now, and we'll get to the Essen stuff, but there's still Gen Con stuff to talk about.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've looked at Board Game Geek has their preview page, and I've made a couple of passes for the first couple of things, and marked things I'm interested in. But I think it's still a little early for me to get too far into it.
I don't
You're right,
understand.
Tom.
I don't understand this question. Questions that won't be answered, says Arthur. How much are you going to make on DTS? What is DTS? Dice Tower what?
I don't know.
DTS.
If you mean Dice Tower West, the answer to that is hardly anything. And how could you sneak in free? You can't. Okay. I don't know.
Oh, that's cute. People think we're making money off of this.
Well, no, let's not be disingenuous. Cons can make money, and the Dice Tower makes some money from our cons. A little, not a ton, though. It's still most of our money comes from our Kickstarter. Blah 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 blah. Oof, there's like a gazillion questions. What's your favorite movie with Santa?
Ooh,
I like the Santa Claus.
Yeah, I like that one.
Santa Claus is good. Ernest Saves Christmas was not good.
I love that that's what comes into your head.
Yeah.
I still like the Miracle on 43rd Street or whatever it's called.
34th Street. Yeah. Do you like the original or do you like the remake that came out in the 90s?
I didn't mind the remake. It starred that overly cute little girl, right? Who was in all those movies?
Mara
Wilson.
Yeah, she was in Matilda, and she's really active on Twitter nowadays.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's see. Crystal, how do you respond to Tom's assertion that Hail Hydra makes Battlestar Galactica unnecessary?
So what's funny is I actually did watch your all's review of Hail Hydra, and when you said that, you were like, this kills Battlestar Galactica for me. I audibly gasped. And I was like, how dare you? But admittedly, you've cooled on BSG for other reasons over the years. So this is not like...
wrong. That's just what it is. I mean, the thing is, I think we've progressed past that point. We played Battlestar Galactica because there wasn't really many other great social deduction games. It's yes, if you like the Battlestar theme, but if you don't like the Battlestar theme, I think you should play one of many, many other games.
Yeah, and I've tried others. I'm very deeply invested in the theme, and like everybody was like, oh, try Dark Moon, and I played Dark Moon, and I was like, this is okay, but it wasn't as good. And I do like other social deduction games, but yeah, I still love BSG, and it is okay that Tom doesn't like it as much as me, because who cares what other people think about games?
I care a lot.
Only so you can make fun of us.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. People are still talking about Napoleon's height. Wow, there's a ton of things.
Someone was asking if I'm bringing anything to Grand Con. I don't know yet. I haven't decided what I should bring a few things. I'll probably bring Merchant of Venus, and probably a few things I need to get played on the review pile. But other than that, I don't know yet.
Oh, earlier, Tom, we were talking about a potential event for a future convention. We were saying that you should get a Nintendo system and the track and field game with the power pads that people have to run on, and do that instead of Magical Athlete next time.
World-class track meet, it was called.
Yeah.
No. I get to make these calls, actually, so no.
I just figured you would like watching us all struggle to run on a little power pad.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Magical Athlete thing was a one-time thing. I still like the game a lot, but I have to be completely happy with a live event, and I wasn't completely happy with that one. So
I did have a lot of fun hitting the contestants with pool noodles. I just
yeah,
have to say.
And that was one of the problems. I feel like the violent streak that you guys came out with, and you and Ambi, was just a little too much. And
we're very cruel people, and you gave us the opportunity to let that side of ourselves show.
And the Secret Cabal guys were just like stunned. They didn't know what was going on most of the time.
Wait, the Secret Cabal?
Oh, yeah. One of them.
Well, Jamie just sat there kind of shell-shocked watching what we were doing. So, all righty. Well, I think we probably need to shut down this here. Blah, blah, blah. Lots of people saying they want to see you at Grand Con. And How great is it that kids are going back to school?
Pretty great.
I think so.
I don't like it because it means more traffic when I'm driving to work in the morning.
I
That
won't
is the
disagree with
downside.
that. That's true. But you know what? That's okay. It's worth it in the long run. All right. Well, I'll let you guys shut it down. It's your show this time. Go ahead.
Well, until next time, I'm Crystal Pisano.
I'm Eric Summerer.
And that has also
I'm
been
Tom
Tom
Vessel, yeah.
Vessel. And you've been watching Dice Tower Tonight.
Thanks for watching. Promotional consideration has been provided by game publishers in the form of review copies of games. Tom, Crystal, and I will see you in 2 weeks for another installment. Our show is supported by viewers like you. Thanks. Dice Tower Tonight is produced by Tom, Crystal, and me with assistance from Derek Porter and Rob Searing. That episode of The Simpsons in which Homer finds enlightenment but then loses it due to his wacky antics provided by Zendo! Timothy Pinkham composed our theme, and hosting is provided by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games at great prices at coolstuffinc.com. Give us your feedback on the Dice Tower Guild at Board Game Geek on Facebook or Twitter, or by emailing us at dicetower@gmail.com. And don't forget to visit the other shows in the Dice Tower Network. Find something new at dicetowernetwork.com. Until next time, from all of us at the Dice Tower, have fun gaming.
I like that Tom did a preemptive eye roll before you even got to the pun.
No, I rolled because he's
Lead
doing
up.
Simpsons. Come on, there are other popular culture references in life.
And guess what? I have the stop button, so bye!